Well, now Gracie's been primed here. As you can see, it's a primer coat. We're going to knock this down with some 80, put a tooth on it, and then put the M300 on in a couple of days. There is just getting ready to mix up the M300. Firstly, it's measuring out the resin itself. We're going to do a quart at a time. Here we go. We got 900 grams of resin, and we're going to add the copper to that right shortly. So here Alvin's adding the copper. It's just telling me we're going to put in, for the 900 grams of resin, we put in 1,125 grams of the copper. And once that's weighed up correctly, we'll stir that into the resin here. And that should give us, time is about 60 minutes or so, a workable time here. We're finding it's probably easier just to do it in quarts first until you get really used to the product. I don't think you want to mix up much more than half a gallon. You have to have 2 people on the roller, and people know what they're doing.
Okay, it's 1,206.
Now here we are just mixing. Just slowly pour the copper powder in and mix it with a stirring stick. The viscosity of this is pretty much like most bottom paint. Actually, it's a little thinner than most bottom paint. So
it's a lot easier to paint on.
There you go. A lot easier to paint on. There we go. Just stir that for a minute or two, and then
and we'll get the hardener in it.
The MEKP will be the next part, which is 2% of the resin weight again.
Which is 18 grams.
18 grams. And then we'll be ready to go. And Alvin's getting this, the 18 grams, I believe it is, of MEKP hardener. The best way to do this is definitely weighing. That way you get your measurements exact, and that's what the way the product's meant to be. Now we just stir that into the resin here. I'm just using a fine nap roller. Actually sponge is the best, just a 1/4 inch or 3/16. Most of them are actually made particularly for resins and varnishes, so that's the sort of roller you need to apply this. There we go, and Alvin's just doing an application now. You sort of cross hatch this, which pretty much you have to do with all bottom paints. You go along horizontally, and then we'll come back in a little while and go cross hatch it, as we call it. So then we'll just vertical and then horizontally. Now this is about approximately 10 minutes or so later, 10 to 15 minutes later. You come back and then cross hatch, and that will actually really coat it really well, makes coverage is much better. And do it section by section here.